Hello, and welcome back to the Pure Nintendo Podcast. This is your weekly dose of all things Nintendo. My name is Gemma, and joining me this week, I once again have my two excellent friends. Welcome back, Trev. How are you?
Hey, Gemma and everyone. I'm glad to be back. Missed you all last week.
Yeah, even 1 week seems like a long time without you, doesn't
It
it?
does.
And welcome back, Kirk. How are you?
I'm good. I'm also glad to be back, even though I didn't miss a week.
Good to hear.
You do get called away on occasion, Kirk. I seem to remember you going to
Oh, well,
a
I'm not making
wrestling.
it a competition. I just didn't know what else to say, to be honest. I need to have a note prepared. I need to have my introduction prepared for each show.
Yeah, that's the hardest part, I think.
You guys don't have like little bullet points or anything like that
No,
for the show?
I
Wow.
just the ones that we all share, but I just make it up as I
Wow.
go along. So
I have
Oh,
one big note: mention Godzilla, underlined like 7 times.
Did we mention it last week? Was last week the one where we talked about the countdown? We did, didn't we? Was it last
Yeah,
week?
I think I found a way to work them in. Yeah.
Yes, we'll see what happens this
And
week.
I've got it out of the way this week, so we're good.
Nice, excellent, tick. Kirk's good for the rest of the show. And we have a really big show again. We've got a couple of big anniversaries that happened last week. We've got what we're dubbing as the Demo Direct, a new segment or a new titled segment, regular segment. Kirk's Corner, of course, and the games that we're playing. So let's kick things off with those anniversaries because, there were two this week or last week. The Nintendo 64 celebrated its 30th anniversary on the 23rd of June, and this was the original release in Japan. So in 1996, which also, I guess, means Mario 64 had its 30th anniversary as well because that debuted alongside the console, didn't it? But I thought we could talk a little about our memories of the Nintendo. Well, Trev and I guess Kirk, didn't have a Nintendo 64, right? No.
What were you playing on the Macintosh in 1996, Kirk? Summer of 96.
Boy, 96. I wouldn't know the exact game. I'll look something up and see if I can find something to mention. Maybe Myth 2 Soul Blighter. Can we go with that?
Sure. Yes.
All right.
And Trev, do you remember getting your Nintendo 64? And I mean, I think we both have a lot of nostalgic love for this console. Did you remember at the time what you thought about it? How you enjoyed it?
Yeah, I might have shared a variation of the story before, but I actually played the 64 before it came out in America because it didn't come out in North America till September.
Mm.
And it's not like I was in the industry when I was whatever, a young teenager or however old I was
Yeah.
when it came out. But they used to have this chain of stores called Die Hard Game Fan. I don't know if they were connected to the magazine of the same name. I think maybe they were because I used to see them advertised. But anyway, they had an import machine in the back room, and you're supposed to only be able to play for like 15 minutes and they kick you off. But I happened to catch it when nobody was around, and I was mesmerized by Mario 64.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't actually pick one up at launch because they were, from what I remember, they were kind of hard to find. But a few months later, I think I had gotten the flu or pneumonia or something, and I missed a week of school, and I rented one because back in the day, they had like Blockbusters and mom and pop rental chains, and you
Yeah.
used to be able to rent whole systems with a game. And I rented that, and that was the best week of being sick ever because I was so distracted by Mario. And then that summer, I picked up one of my own, and the rest,
Nice.
as they say, is history. But yeah, a lot of awesome memories, and they are directly tied into Mario 64 because that was pretty much, I mean, the only game really at launch in North America. I think they had Pilot Wings too, and that was it.
Yes. Yeah, that's
And
right. Mm.
eventually I picked up Pilot Wings too, but Mario was all I had, and frankly, that was all I needed because there was nothing else like it at the time.
Yeah, isn't that funny? Because we didn't, I mean, we probably did want more, but we didn't necessarily complain about it all that much. We were sort of used to that, I think. But it did seem like a slow trickle of games for that system initially, right? From
Yeah,
memory as
well,
well. Yeah.
I mean, even throughout the lifetime, there were certain genres that
Mm.
didn't like. It's why Kirk didn't pick up one. There weren't that many RPGs. So,
Yeah, exactly.
when did you first play one, Gemma? When did Australia get one?
We got one later as well. I don't know the exact release date, but we did. I remember playing Mario also in a store. Like I think it was Maya or something. I don't know. You guys probably don't have Maya over there, but it's like a department store kind of
Oh
thing.
yeah, we admire.
You have Maya. Oh, there
Is
you
it
go.
M-E like IJER or something? What's
No,
the
it's
I
MYER.
okay, then it's a different Meyer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been around
I,
as long as I can remember. But yeah, it came
I
out
thought
in
you were
97.
saying Mario with an accent.
Maya,
Mario.
Maya. It's a me, a Maya. It came out here in March 1997, which was good timing because my birthday's in March actually. So yeah, a little bit later, almost a year later, really. And that was what happened back then. We didn't get things anywhere near the same time as anyone else. Being less than a year was actually not too bad for us. So yeah, Mario 64 was definitely a huge game for me. That was just a massive game. Seeing Mario in 3D because I'd grown up with Mario platformers on the NES and the Super Nintendo as well. So seeing Mario in 3D and working through those beautiful paintings that we jump into from the Princess Peach's castle, having controlling Lakitu with the camera, and just trying to collect all the stars and everything, defeat Bowser, etc. Yeah, so many fun memories with that. Love it. It was huge. It's a really defining moment, I think, for a lot of players. What did you think of the control at the time? Because that was the thing. I remember reading about it before we even got our hands on it. Like this new fandangled controller with three
Yeah.
sticks yeah.
I got used to it. I thought it looked awkward. To be honest, I still think that it's probably the most awkward looking controller I've ever first party
Yeah.
controller I've ever seen. They had some funky, third party ones, but yeah,
Mhm.
it was awkward. I remember they had the diagram showing the different ways you could hold it. But I ended up just holding it like a regular controller and just like bringing my
Mhm.
thumbs in to hit the nub.
Yeah.
Obviously now we're spoiled with, the dual setup, but it was a pioneer and I
Mm.
got used to it and it was all I knew. I mean, because that's all we had. So I had nothing to compare it to. I enjoyed it throughout the life of the system. And then, GameCube came out and the rest was history. But I said that already. I need to think of
You
a new
did, you did.
new expression. But
Is there a
um,
Godzilla phrase we can use there, or Simpsons phrase for Trev maybe? I don't
there's probably a million Simpson ones.
know. Yeah.
But I was thinking when you mentioned how Australia got it later,
Mhm.
but the 64 itself had been delayed because I remember
Mm.
in at least in this region, I don't know elsewhere, they were running advertising campaigns even in early 96. And basically they're like, it's worth the wait, be patient, do you want to wait? Only if you
Mm.
want the best, hang in there type of thing. Cause you couldn't buy it. If you were a Nintendo fan, you were buying SNES games or maybe just saving up waiting. So it's funny seeing advertisements for a system that was months away.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. I guess they were trying to build the hype and get everyone excited. I mean, a new console is a big event, so any kind of launch is exciting, but the delays obviously make it and we had the same thing with the Switch too, didn't we? We were like, "When is it coming? When is it coming?"
Mm.
And that wasn't even a case of being advertised, it was a case of rumors, really, like, "They're working on it. When are they gonna announce it?" So, yeah.
I bet they did that because there was no internet back then, though,
Mm. Mhm.
right? Or at least not one that they could rely on for
Mm.
marketing.
It was
You know,
Yeah.
primitive.
put the image in people's heads, get them talking about it, and let them know they need to start saving their money.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and there was no social media, that's for sure. So, no YouTube, nothing like that. We were still using our magazines, which we should mention our own magazine because if you do like retro stuff, you would like our Pure Nintendo magazine because we are fans of print. So we should say that
Y-
at this point as well.
You know how
Um,
primitive the internet was
how?
back when the 64 came out? And the only reason I know this, not to get too off topic, it's when I reviewed a Broken Sword
Hmm.
because that game came out. The story, the plot of it was, you were in Paris in the fall of 96, which is right when the 64 came out. And
Ah,
I was mentioning how the puzzles involved, so much talking and, traveling around, and I'm like, nowadays with your cell phone, this game would be a lot different, but back then, there was no internet. So it might take me a minute. I'm going to find it in my review. I actually had a percentage, I think.
Oh, wow.
So keep
That's
talking
cool.
while I look for that.
Sure.
Or do you guys have favorite games? Because
For
Kirk
the
could even chime in, because I'm sure you played them on like virtual console or, the like.
You know what? I'm going to say something now that's going to have you all labeling me a blasphemer. I think out of all the Nintendo systems, the 64 is the one I have the least amount of interest in. Not because of the games, but because I hated the way those 3D polygonal graphics looked at that
Mm,
time. I
mhm.
just don't like looking at that
Blasphemous.
at all.
I
I
can
see it
yeah.
as a necessary step to get to where we are today, but yeah, I don't nothing. I can't think of a single game.
I
Wow.
mean, I can see your point in that playing them now like, I reviewed a game a few years ago that was made in that style, and
Mhm.
it doesn't work for me as well as, we see games made in the 8-bit or the 16-bit style, and they work, they look good. But
Yeah.
using that particular style, that 64-bit style, yeah, I can see your point. I can. Like, at the time, obviously, I thought it was great and loved it, and it was groundbreaking, but I definitely see your point, for sure.
Yeah. Like
Mm.
if I'd experienced it at the time and was coming up, well, I don't know because I was playing games on the Mac and they were doing the same things. Like the original Tomb Raider, for example, had that look.
Yeah, yeah,
So I don't know why that doesn't bother me, but something
yeah.
about the way things looked on the N64, or maybe it did, and I've just forgotten that it bothered me. I don't know.
Well, you
Okay,
know
so
what
it's
it was
specific to the
too?
64.
Yeah.
Well, the
What's that, Trip?
64, unlike the PlayStation, the 64 had a lot of, what's the term? Anti aliasing,
Aliasing.
aliasing,
Oh, okay.
and it sort of had that smeared look where, like the PlayStation,
Yeah.
the polygons were more sharp. So it always kind of had maybe a blurriness to it. So I see
Mm,
what you're saying, Kirk. I do.
yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
Oh,
I
anyway,
mean
back to
yeah.
my earlier point. I'm sorry, I
Yeah,
just
yeah.
found it.
Sure.
So this is from my Broken Sword review. I said in 1996, the percentage of the global population having cell phones and internet access was small enough to be counted on one hand. So
What?
at a max, 4% of the population would have had internet
Oh,
back when the
wow.
64 came out. So to your point, the marketing through the internet would have been very limited.
Yeah, well, we definitely didn't have it at home. We had it at school, but that was it. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
same.
mm, yeah, and
The
we
more
would
you
just
know.
oh, yeah, exactly. Thank you, Trev. I guess favorite game, I mean, it would have to be Mario 64. I also obviously enjoyed Mario Kart 64 and Ocarina of
Mm,
Time, of course. Those are probably the big three. What else? Anything else off
good
the top of your head?
choices. Wave race, maybe?
Oh, yeah. I remember because I worked at a video shop. So you mentioned hiring the 64. I remember when we got those in and everyone was so excited and we were playing Wave Race 64 on a big TV in the shop. So yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, yeah. And we
Oh
had, I don't
man.
know what your experience was like. This is a bit of a tangent as well, sorry. But when you took a game console home, did they put it in a big suitcase that felt like you were a spy with a security suitcase? Like, yeah.
Yes, like I wanted to be handcuffed to the case in case.
Yes.
It was
Oh,
huge. It was, you know what? Kirk will appreciate this. Remember the cases the trombones would come in? That's what it was like for the game console because it was so much padding and plastic.
yeah, yeah,
Oh, I thought you were going to say it was that long.
Oh, no, but it was a similar
The
idea. It
length
was
of a
very
trombone?
yeah.
maybe not quite, but it's closer than you might think. It was very cumbersome.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Big blocky thing, yeah.
Uh,
Very good. Anything else on the N64 before we move on to the other big anniversary of the
oh
week?
man. Kirby 64, Yoshi's
Mm.
Story,
Oh, of course, Yoshi's Story,
the
yes.
Star Wars games like Shadows of the Empire, Battle for No I mean,
Mhm.
yeah, I could spend the whole episode talking
We
64.
could. We really could do a whole episode on that. So yeah, apologies to listeners. We have to move on. But the other big anniversary was Sonic the Hedgehog, who celebrated his 35th anniversary, also on the 23rd of June, this time 1991. And this was a US and Europe date, which I found surprising, I guess, because I didn't realize at the time. But it did come out in the US and Europe first, right? Before Japan, which is backwards. Usually it's Japan first. Am I right in saying that?
I think typically Sonic was interesting. They had um, sort of two design elements. Like
Mm-hmm.
it was Yuji Naka and see, I'm going to get into a little too off topic because like Sonic 2 and Sonic CD were kind of built in tandem, but by different design teams, one in America, one in Japan, and it's a whole other thing. But yeah, I think as a rule that's fairly
Mm.
atypical, especially for that time period, because a lot of times games would come out in Japan maybe a year or so more. Like with your favorite game Mario, that was out long before we got it in North America. Probably even longer in Australia, because I remember
Mm.
reading about that in Nintendo Power, like import, for months. So yeah, it was probably the same with Sonic.
Okay, well, I'm seeing a slightly different date here. Okay, so I'm sorry if I was wrong about the European date. Apparently, they got it first on June the 21st, which explains why when I was looking into this during the week, I was seeing like the official date being reported as June the 21st, but then on the Sonic, website, the Sega website, it said June the 23rd because that's a North American website. But the report I saw about June 21st was from a European website. So yeah, there's a few different dates. So Europe was June the 21st, June was June the 23rd, and Japan was July the 26th. So yeah,
Mhm.
since
I give
most of
them
our
credit for even having a date because a lot of old games, you're fortunate if you can get a month. Like
Mhm.
it came out in June, so if you can find a date,
Yeah,
that's impressive.
yeah. And Sega, I mean, they did acknowledge this one and had a bit of a, I guess, an announcement-y type of celebration, if you could call it that. And they're talking about a few different games coming out, such as Sonic Frontiers Definitive Edition for Nintendo Switch 2, which is obviously just this Nintendo Switch 2 edition of that game, it came out that day, June the 23rd, so that's out now. Sonic Crossworlds having different patches. Some of these are announcements of things coming, and some are out now. But it looks like there's like a TMNT pack arriving in July for that game, which is pretty cool crossover. Um, there's an anniversary project as well. So they've got a couple of collections coming out. And I don't know if you looked through this at all, Trev, or if you're interested in any of this, because I know you're a Sonic fan, probably more so than Kirk. Would I be right in saying that? we need a
I
Kirk
don't want to speak for
anniversary.
Kirk, but I am
Oh,
a
I,
big
I was I
fan.
was waiting to see if Trev was going to comment before I reply.
No, please go ahead.
Well, remember, I think I've mentioned before that when I finally did get my first console after the Intellivision in 92, it would have been October, November of 92.
Mm,
I bought a Sega Genesis and got Sonic. Of course, I got Sonic the Hedgehog with it. It came with it.
yeah, that's
A
true.
game called Sunset Rider. So yeah, I played this. I played 2. I played 3. So I was a big fan of the
Mm,
early Sonic games.
nice. Nice. Not the new ones, though? Or you haven't really tried the new ones, I guess.
Uh, the ones I've tried have been fine. I think, and I'm not going to go into details. I think I've told the story before about my bachelor life in New York City with my gaming system.
Yes.
It was just a magical time to be playing video games, and Sonic fit in there perfectly.
Yeah.
And then after that, those times ended, and I kind of strayed away from I shouldn't say I strayed away. I haven't enjoyed the games as much since those.
Mhm. Fair enough. Yeah. It is a bit of a time period thing. Like I've struggled to get back into Sonic over the years. I still enjoy it. I really like Sonic. And I did this makes me sound like a pretentious little brat, but I asked my dad for a Sega Mega Drive because that's what it was called here, the Genesis, for my birthday because I really wanted to play Sonic. That's the only reason I wanted. It's the only console I ever had that wasn't Nintendo. And I love Mario, and he's my main man, but I just needed to play Sonic. So I'm like, Daddy, I want it.
You needed
Not quite like
what?
that. Not quite like that, but he did buy
Feel
it for
feel
me.
the speed? Is that what they used to call that? I can't remember what
Yeah.
the commercial was because the commercial was all about the speed. They always made
Mm.
fun of Mario because he was so slow.
Well, that's
Yeah.
because Nintendo didn't have blast processing
There
Mm.
like
you
the
go.
Genesis had, which was a totally made up word. But we're like, ooh, what kind of chips are that?
Wait,
Like,
wait. Blast processing is not a technical term.
nope, there's a made up thing.
I mean, I
Basically,
always yeah.
the processor in the Genesis was faster than the Super Nintendo. The
Okay.
Super Nintendo had its own strengths and edges, but yeah,
I've
it was their way to market how
mm.
fast Sonic was next to our favorite plumber, who was more deliberately paced.
Yeah. Although I always play Mario with the run button held down, like more or less always. I'm always
Wait,
running.
what?
Yeah.
Really?
I stop and explore, but I prefer to run. I do. I'm a
Wow.
bit like one of your kids, Kirk, who you said runs
Oh,
in
yeah,
some of
same.
those
Yeah.
games. Yeah. Yeah. I'm not saying I speedrun the levels. I do stop and explore. I definitely collect everything in Mario games, but generally when I'm on a plane, I like to run and jump on the Goombas. Like that's my style. So yeah. You
You
get bigger
must have really liked that Luigi U game that had
Oh, his
the
jumps are
time
too
limit.
slow and awkward. No, I mean, I did like it, but yeah, it's because you get bigger jumps when you run. That's why. So I can reach higher areas. So yeah, it's a bit more
Interesting.
acrobat. I find it more acrobatic when he runs because he has the triple jump now, which came about in Mario 64, didn't it? That
Oh,
was
goodness, yes.
yeah. There you go. Tying that back. So did any of the Sonic news interest you, Trev? And also, what's your memory of Sonic?
Um, yeah, Sonic 2, I think, was the pack-in by the time I got the Genesis.
Hmm.
It was the second model, Genesis, and yeah, I played it a ton. It's still one of my favorites. I think Sonic CD is probably my ultimate favorite just because it's very unique. It goes back to that point I said about, the design teams kind of separated, across the pond and trying to do their own things. But yeah, a lot of fun memories. Even playing two-player, Sonic 2 had a really fun split screen mode that
That was
is
fun. Yeah.
probably choppy nowadays, but I had a blast playing it. Sonic's had some inconsistencies in recent years or even decades, if I'm being honest. But
Yeah.
those classic 2D games, 2 and 3 and Sonic and Knuckles, Sonic CD, still some of my favorites. And I'll still replay them.
Mm.
Not just to have fun and experience some of my childhood again.
Nice. Yes, I love that.
And they've repackaged those games 100 times on different systems too. So it's not
Yeah.
hard to be able to replay those games wherever you are.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
Yes.
true. Yeah, I've got several versions of it. And it's
Mm.
funny you say that, Kirk. Made me think. I am 8-bit is they're repurposing the carts, actual like
Mm.
Sega Genesis carts that you can play in your Genesis. 99.99.
Yee.
So,
Wow. Okay.
if you want to, oh man, it's like
There's a market for it.
Yeah, totally.
there
Yes.
there there is, but I mean
Mm.
I'm sorry, I'm a Sonic fan, but I just man, that's a lot for very common games that you can get in compilations with a lot more features. But yeah, I am 8-bit if you want a translucent Sega Genesis shell of Sonic the Hedgehog.
It is translucent. Oh, look at that. Yeah. And that'd be
Yeah.
100 US, I guess, right? So that's
Yes.
probably a lot more in Australia.
But
120,
you get a full color instruction booklet with restored artwork. So,
Oh, that's cool. I do miss instruction booklets. We could spend a whole episode on that too.
yeah.
Anyway, yes, that's Sonic. Anything else to add before we move on to our next segment? I
Oh,
think we're
I'm
good.
sorry. Just to be
Yeah.
fair to I am 8-bit, you get 10% off. There's a pop-up here.
Oh, yeah.
So
I
maybe
did
it's
see
because
that.
I'd be a new customer. So
Yeah, probably. Yeah. It does look cool, I have to say. The cartridges look pretty authentic, although they're translucent. But the cases look very authentic. They look
I
just
do
like
miss those
I
like
remember.
hard plastic clamshell designs
Yeah.
because eventually they would switch to cardboard, which was it just
Mm.
wasn't nearly as good.
Mhm. Yeah, exactly. Well, anyway, listeners, tell us your favorite Sonic memory, your favorite Sonic game. I would say Sonic 2 would be my favorite, just for nostalgic purposes. That's the one I remember playing, with my sister. We would play that in two-player mode and have a lot of fun. Even my mum would play that with me, actually. We'd do the racing
Oh,
split screen thing that you could do.
yeah,
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah, that was fun. I remember that. That was good fun. So let's move on to what we're going to call the demo direct, which is anytime we have a demo to play, because there's been so many demos lately. If we have a demo that we've played and we want to talk about, we're going to stick it in the segment. Might not be weekly, but it'll come up every now and then. But this week we actually have 3 demos to talk about. And the first one is an upcoming game called Rhythm Heaven Groove, which is coming out. Is that July, I believe?
It's like next week, I think.
It's
Or
pretty
this
soon.
week even, if this comes out Monday.
True. It's very soon. It is a Nintendo published game. It's a Switch 1 game as well, which is nice. And of course, I did download the demo. I had to give this a go. I wondered if either of you tried it, because I think we all like rhythm games. Kirk, did you get a chance to download this one?
Not this one.
That's
Not
okay. Trev, how did you go?
Okay. So you know how now on the Nintendo site, because we have your accounts linked, you can click download right from the site and
Yeah.
it'll put it on your Switch.
hmm
So I'm like, ooh, demo's out. I clicked that. Later on, I went to my Switch and my memory is full.
Oh, no.
Switch, as it was trying to download it on Switch 2
hmm
for whatever reason. And yeah, my memory is full. It's because of Adventures of Elliot, even though I bought a physical copy. It was a game key card and it took up a lot of room. I'll talk more about that game later, but I did try to download the demo because I am a fan of this game. But it's got that flashing X and it's like, make room. And I'm like, I've already made room for this game. What am I going to? I can't archive everything. I don't know.
Okay.
Well, yeah, I feel like you might need to make a correction here, Trev, because you said it's because of the Adventures of Elliot. But is it not actually because you refuse to remove any game from your system that you've ever downloaded for any reason?
Hey, I have tried very hard to keep my Switch 2 for just Switch 2 games. I even archived Tamagotchi Life because I was playing that virtual game card. So now I'm only on Switch 1 for that. But I hate archiving games I know I'm going to go back to and play. Like I'm not going to archive Mario Kart because I still play that every now and then.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's you got a point. It is partly me, but I'm gonna have to invest in one of those micro SD cards, I guess.
Yeah, that will help your life a lot.
I mean, do you guys archive a lot?
Yeah.
Like Kirk and Gemma, you guys probably review more than me. So what do you do? Like, do you archive it right away or?
No,
No.
I flat out delete.
Kirk doesn't even want the little
Whoa,
icon,
wait. Like if you get a bad game, like you review, right? Like what if you get a game that scores like an 8? Are you gonna delete it?
You know what? This would actually be a good topic for a future episode, I think. Which games do we have on our systems, except Trev, because he keeps them all, that you
Make
keep
a note for
because
next
you
week.
know you know you're going to play it again? Like, because most of the games I play are, they're like you said, these JRPGs are 80-hour, 120-hour games. So no, I'm not going to fire that up, to play it quickly. But like Mario Kart World, I still have from when I bought it because every now and again I'll just play that. So yeah, it's there's a strategy behind it.
Yeah, I mean, if I only archive when I need to, like when I'm downloading a new game and it says I need room, then I do the archive thing. And it's annoying, but I'll go through the list and I'll find a few that I reviewed recently that I'm done with and I'm probably never going to play again. So I'll archive them. You can always download them again though anyway. So I've done that before. I've downloaded stuff again. Yeah.
Yeah, your save games are kept. So, you just got to bring them back down and pick up right where you left off.
Yeah, so I don't see it as it's archiving. It's not deleting. Yeah.
Unless you're Kirk and you're deleting that, right?
Well, but when I pull it up on the Switch, it says delete from system or delete. It uses the word delete, not archive.
Yeah, you can delete the icon, I think. I always leave it there because I like having a super long list of games I can look through and go, oh yeah, I remember that game that I played 5 years ago. I don't know why. And I have the list of, I put them in order of time played. And it's always a competition to see what's, number one, whether it's Mario Kart or I think it's still Lego City Undercover.
Lego City.
Yeah, I think it's still number one. Tears of the Kingdom might be number 2. So I like to see where a game lands in that list. And I just like the list of, like, it's like a little collage. It's like a million games in my list. So I leave the icon there, but they don't take up much room as far as I know. So
there's a future thing too. And Listeners, I'd be curious too. We should look and see because you know how you can sort your playtime from most, longest played to shortest played.
Hmm.
Mm.
You should see how many games, because we always talk about backlog. How many Switch games do you have that you haven't booted up even once?
Oh yeah, true.
Maybe you grabbed it
Mm.
on sale, or maybe we got an extra press code and you didn't want to go to waste, or whatever the case may be.
Mm.
Oh man.
I would have a few. I definitely have some demos that I downloaded that I never tried, and I'm pretty sure Link's Awakening I never actually loaded and played, like the Switch version. I downloaded on sale, and I'm pretty sure I've never even started that one. So that's an example for me, which is sad because I love that. I mean, I played the original, obviously, but yeah, never got around to playing the Switch version, even though I have it. So
Mm.
yeah, yeah, good question. Anyway, Rhythm Heaven. It's really fun. It's really fun. I played through the demo. There's a couple of modes. You can do single player or multiplayer. I haven't had a chance to try the multiplayer, but I did the single player. You play through, I think it's 4 different games, and then there's a remix at the end of all of them. It could be 5, I'm not sure. And it's some that you've seen on the trailer, like the one with those big white blobby people jumping through a hoop. There's one with umbrellas that open and close. There's one with a dog who has to catch a frisbee. They're pretty versatile. They're really fun. I had a really good time with this. It didn't take very long. You know, it's you can replay it, of course, but and you can beat your best. It doesn't really give you a score. I don't think it gives you a rating. So you get like awesome, and I think I got a couple of awesomes. Then I got 2 like good job or that's great or something like that, which is like, I guess, your second level. And I think if you get the awesome one, you get something like a star or some sort of bonus that I guess you can use to unlock more levels later. I'm not really sure how that works. But essentially, yeah, you get ratings and it gives you sort of something to use for doing well. And it's exactly what you probably would expect. And I think, did we say that this game should get a demo when we looked at the trailer? Did we say this game could use a demo? Was this one of the ones? Because yeah, obviously it has a demo, and I think it's great. I think it's if you don't understand how it works or what it's like, the demo gives you that. It absolutely explains it, and it's really fun. It's so quirky and so cartoony
Mm.
and Wario-wary. Like it's just yeah, I really
Does
enjoyed it.
the demo, Gemma, have any does it mention like any type of plot or story that's tying the events together, or is it just the those
No,
few mini games?
nothing like that. It does give you a lot of accessibility options, though. It even has a text to speech thing. So if you are vision impaired, you can listen and not sort of worry too much about what you can see or not see, which is really good. So, and you can change the settings. You can make, because there is a little character who does, it's like a tutorial, I suppose. She introduces you to the game and how to play, and you can make this character read out the text or not. And there's even a third level of not just her reading what she says, but describing what's on the screen, which is that next level for people who are vision impaired. So yeah, really accessible, which is great. Because yeah, you could play. I mean, it's a rhythm game, right? So you're relying on vision, but you're really relying on your auditory senses, really, aren't you? Because
Yeah.
yeah, it's obviously if you're not vision impaired, you're sort of using both, but you could definitely play this just auditorily or whatever the word is, using sound, and it might even be better that way. I should try like closing my eyes because I mean I am counting the beats in my head and or using my hand or whatever to make that motion so I get the beat right and the
I seem
visuals.
to
Yeah,
Oh, I'm sorry.
sorry. No, 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 you go.
I was gonna say, just to your point, I seem to remember doing that with the last entry. There were certain games where, like, I don't know if it's purposely done where some of the visuals for the hard events, like, are done in
Mm.
such a way to trip you up, but I remember there was one, like, I think it was these monkeys high-fiving around a clock, and I had a heck of a time getting the timing down. So I think I ended up doing that after a while. I was, like, closing my eyes, and I pulled it off, so I think it's a kind of a thoughtful thing that they're doing.
Yeah, it is. And some of them, sometimes for example, okay, so the dog catching the frisbee one, there's a girl in the background who throws the frisbee to the foreground, and you control the dog in the foreground. You have to jump on the seventh beat to catch the frisbee properly. And sometimes the screen will zoom right into the girl in the background, so you can't even see the dog or the frisbee once she's thrown it. So you really are relying on that counting, that the beat itself rather than the visual stimulus. So yeah, it makes it harder that way too. It does that with a few of them. Like it'll just close the rest of the screen down into like a circle, just a spotlight on your character, so you can't see what the other characters are doing, but you can still hear what they're doing, knowing that you're next in line. Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's really fun. Definitely recommend that one. Let's move on to the next one, which
Oh, I
is
just want to
oh,
say real
sorry.
quick, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
sure.
I think it's worth reminding people
Yeah,
that
yeah,
this
yeah.
is more of a budget. It's only $39.99, so
That is
that's like
true.
3DS pricing.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah. That's exactly right. Yes, and yes, it does launch on July the 2nd. So you're right, it is out next week. That's next Thursday, which is that's pretty cool. We've had two big games in a row because we had Star Fox last week, and now we're getting Rhythm Heaven Groove. So yeah, really neat. We'll see how we go. I think we will be reviewing this one, and maybe Trev, I think maybe was going to take this. We'll have to talk about that offline. But yeah,
yeah,
if you if you have
maybe
time, if you have time.
I've got some ideas on it.
Okay, all right, we can work that out. I just wanted to touch a little bit on the Kingdom Hearts 3 demo, which was announced, I guess, or launched as part of that Nintendo Direct they had recently. And I thought I'd give it a go because why not? It's a demo, and I haven't really got a lot of experience with Kingdom Hearts, and I'm really enjoying this one. It's really fun. It's probably more fun than I thought. You can just like you can with most of these types of RPGs now. You can really tweak the settings to your liking, so you can make it super easy or hard for yourself. So I like Sora. I think he's really cool. I'm playing with Sora and Donald and Goofy, which is really fun. I love when Donald quacks, his little speech, and it's just hilarious. And in the level, I guess the demo at least is in Hercules' world. So Hercules is helping out. Meg is there, Hades as well. And the voice actors do a good job if you've seen Hercules. I don't think these are the actual actors, but maybe. I don't think so. I don't think it's James. What's his name? Who was Hades? Was James Woods was Hades?
Oh gosh,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I highly doubt it's him. But hey, I probably should look that up. Anyway, whoever it is does a really, really good job. Yeah. I guess what can I say about that? It's made me interested in the full game. I think the graphics aren't as sharp as I would expect for a Switch 2 game, but I guess it's an older game that they've ported, so they haven't really optimized it, I would say. So it's not that it looks bad, it's not made for Switch 2 would be my first impression. I was like, oh, this looks a little blocky. Like it's not blocky. We're not talking Mario 64 blocky or anything or Tomb Raider. It jarred me a little bit that it wasn't as high quality as I guess you could get on the Switch 2. Like it's not Final Fantasy level, but it is a port. So, and some of the cutscenes do look pretty nice, and there's quite a bit of detail. So I wonder if they've added those in or redone those or something. But it does make me think Kingdom Hearts 4 will look pretty spectacular because that one will be made for new consoles when that does come out. So yeah, any interest in that one from either of you guys? No.
I think I made my thoughts clear last week.
Yes, you did. Yes.
But Kirk, it's RPG. It's Square.
Yeah. It's a bit of fun. We'll see how we go.
You know what? The question is, Gemma, what did you
Yeah.
have to archive to download the demo? Because I bet you that demo was kind of
Yeah, it was beefy.
sizable.
I did do some archiving. What did I archive? I don't know. I don't remember. I did archive my last review game, I think, which I don't even remember what that was. Sorry. So, yeah. No, I'll try to remember next time for this very conversation. Yeah, I just went through. I think I did find something big to archive because something comes up. I wouldn't do, like you guys said, I wouldn't do Mario Kart World or probably any Mario game, like even Mario Party. I won't archive because it's something you jump into every now and then. Usually it's a one-player game, like Kirk said, like a bigger one-player game. Especially if I finished it, then it's fine.
I got a question, and you don't have to answer it because we
Mhm.
can talk more about this next week. But question for you guys, question for the listeners, talking about space.
Mhm.
Have you ever, for the sake of space, purchased a physical edition of a game that you already had digitally just to free up space? Think about that, and let's revisit it next week.
Okay. All right. Sure. Thank you. Let's move on to our last demo, which is Grand Blue Fantasy Relink Endless Ragnarok, which I'm excited to hear Kirk's thoughts on. How did you go with that one?
Well, this is a really interesting one in pretty much all facets. Like even the name, there are a lot of words there, right? So
Yes.
I thought I'd heard of this game before, or maybe I thought it was an anime, but I haven't. It was like a mobile game
Oh.
that came out in Japan only, maybe like 2012. So I mean, obviously this isn't a port of the mobile game. They made like a console game, I think in 2024, and this is coming over from that. So yeah, a weird history to get to this game. And I could also say maybe I thought I'd heard of it before because it just looks like a lot of games of this JRPG style with, you know, young, handsome warriors in really cool looking outfits just running around the countryside, beating up all kinds of animals. But yeah, I like this. And we talked last week about it. It doesn't just dump you at the beginning, or I shouldn't say dump. I like it when demos start me at the beginning of the game. This one doesn't. When you fire it up, it immediately presents you with three options that you can do for the demo. The first is a tutorial, which just explains all the combat. So of course I went there first because, you know, it's an action game. It's not like turn based, and all these games have their own systems and their own button combos. So that was the first part of the demo, and I think that's fantastic. Just give me a straight up tutorial instead of trying to explain things, you know, as we go on, especially if we're not at the beginning. Then you get two options. You could play a small story segment, or you can go in and accept, I think it's a total of 5 side quests. And then just figure out how to play it. And the reason they do that is because obviously the story one is going to introduce you to the characters, the kind of flow to it. It's obviously later in the game because everybody knows everyone and one area is already in trouble and you're going to go help them out. But with the help of the tutorial, I got through it quite well. And if I hadn't, they give you something even better because, you know, we've seen a lot of games with a different difficulty levels. The combat system requires an awful lot of button combos in order to access all the different abilities. If you don't want to do that, you can literally just mash Y. Y will do everything you need it to do when the game figures it out. If that's too much, then you can just like approach the enemies and the game just takes them out for you. You're literally just moving around, deciding who to fight. The game fights them and it goes on. So it's kind of like you're observing it, but you're actively observing it. Not a way I would play it, but I think it's great that it's there. You know, if you have younger children, I don't know if this game's appropriate for younger kids, although I haven't seen anything inappropriate so far. So aside from all that, with the whole presentation, which I think is fantastic, if you download the demo and you complete the story mode and the side quest, you get bonus items that you can carry over into the game. So there is at least an incentive, you know, aside from like initial progress. And I liked it. I liked the characters. I once again did not like although I knew I wouldn't. Whenever there's a JRPG game and there is a young girl or some floating weird looking animal, I know I'm going to hate the American acting for the voices. And again, that's not a knock on the abilities of the actors. It's just for some reason the voice that every adult woman chooses when she's going to play a young girl or a freaky looking animal that's flying around.
Is there an animal? I don't see one in the cover.
Yes. Yeah,
Okay.
there is. In fact, I don't know if it's a he or a she. It was the very first thing that started talking at the beginning.
Oh, okay.
And immediately I thought, how far do I have to go now before I can go back and reset the acting?
I mean, I was going to say this is unrelated to this game, sorry, but when we talked about Ocarina of Time, the remake, I couldn't believe they didn't show Navi. But then is that because people found Navi annoying? Like, how do they not have her say something in that little teaser we had? Or are you glad that they didn't?
You know, I don't have I mean, I played the game. I played it. I don't have a memory of hating that voice, so either it didn't bother me or I repressed it.
Was it Trev? Did you say once a long time ago that Navi bothered you? Or not really?
I don't think it was the voice. I just think it was the constant, the hey, listen, because
Oh yeah,
like
there was that. Yeah.
she was, I mean, the game had a degree of non-linearity, but she would always try to, if you ever got sidetracked, looking for a treasure chest or whatnot, it's like you can't go more than a few minutes where we're like, hey, shouldn't we be going up to the Zora region and it's like, let me be. Let me be. It's funny you mentioned that because I'm going to be talking about something similar in a little bit with
Yeah, I thought you
the
might.
game I'm
Yeah,
playing.
yeah. Okay.
No.
No, that's all good.
And Trev, it's funny you mentioned that because one thing that did bother me, I shouldn't say bother me, I found humorous about this game is, it would give you missions like, hey, these people are being attacked. We need to go help them. And I'm like, yeah, right. But there's a treasure chest literally 20 feet to my right. I don't want to have to walk all the way back here. And I would go to get it and it would interrupt me. And the voice would say, hey, we got things to do. We could go on these things later. I'm like, no, it is 20 feet away from me. I want to pick this up. It could be a sword. It could be helpful in combat. It does guide you a lot along those lines as well. I don't know if that's just part of the demo though, or in the game it'll restrict your movement that much.
Could be. Yeah, not sure. That one comes out, was it the 9th of July? It's not too far away, the full game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's pretty close. Yeah.
Yeah, nice. Thank you, Kirk. We'll continue with you because now it's time for Kirk's Corner. What do you have for us this week?
Well, let's see if you guys, you're looking at it so you can see it, but how many game franchises do you know where we would announce the 12th in the series?
Not many. No.
Right?
Mario,
This is,
maybe.
yeah, but see, those you don't count them because they're all so
Mm,
different from one another.
true.
This is Jackbox Party Pack 12.
Wow. I did not know there were that many, honestly.
Right. And yeah, because we've reviewed some of them, but not all of them. And my memories, I think I mentioned for this, go all the way back to when You Don't Know Jack first came out. Again, when I was living in New York City and the design department of the investment firm where I worked, this was our Friday afternoon. We would fire this up on our computers at work
Cool.
and play You Don't Know Jack and just have a blast with it. I love that game. I still love that game. But it's not part of this. There are 5 new games that are going to be in Jackbox Party Pack 12. None of them are You Don't Know Jack. And I think that should be in all of them. I don't know why. I just feel like that should always be updated and part of each one of these packs.
Yeah, why
But
not?
it's not. The games they're including this time are called We Forgot a Card. And this is like real life for me because the whole premise is you're going to a party with kind of an odd theme or reason. And you forgot to get a greeting card, so you need to hurry up and design your own
Cool.
based on the prompts that they give you. That just sounds wonderful to me. I would have a blast playing that game. Then there's the others are Mega Pals, Debate and Switch, Idle Factions, and Hyperface. Hyperface is just one of those things where you're kind of like skewing people's faces for different reasons. I'm not sure I'd be too into that one. Let's see the others. I'm trying to think. Mega Pals is it's one of those like friend games. You're like trying to guess how, or basically you're finding out how well you know your friends. They ask you questions and you're kind of like answering for them or making guesses.
That sounds like it could make or break a relationship.
Yeah, yeah, that kind of thing where your significant other finds out you know more about your best friend than him or her.
Yeah.
Debate and Switch is kind of a trivia kind of thing, except no, that's not that one. It's you're given a topic or something that you're disputing, and there are 2 people, and then you're trying to get everyone else to side with you on that. And the last one I mentioned, Idle Factions, is an action. Here, let's see. I got a description here. An action-packed battle of facts, where 2 teams race to sort answers into the right categories. You'll need to think fast and yell loudly to sort the answers that just keep coming. So it's kind of like they're giving you questions and answers, and you need to get them into the right spot.
That sounds fun.
Yeah, it seems like a good pack to me.
Yeah.
And I like the attitude of the Jackbox Party Pack games. I like the anyone can really hop in with a phone, so you get it on your system, and then
Mm.
people can play that way.
Mhm.
And it is coming to Switch and Switch 2. I know it's later this year, but I think I saw something more precise outside of the press release I got. It could be like September, October.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
yeah, good party game to watch for.
Yeah, definitely. That's great. Thank you. I feel like Trev reviewed some Jackbox stuff. Did you? Did you
Yeah,
review some? Yeah.
I did. Um, I don't remember which one, but there were already quite a few installments at that
Mm.
point, and obviously there's been some since. And
Yeah.
it,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's funny, sort of like Kirk. I remember it from when it was You Don't Know Jack, playing on a buddy's PC back in, I want to say, like 1999, maybe. Like, man,
Wow.
makes me
It's been
sound
around that
ancient.
long. Oh my gosh.
And there was one on DS as well that I actually have. But
Oh.
my question, I guess, for Kirk, and I don't even know if you know at this point, the one of the issues I had, like, they're great party games, but I'm like, oh, I just want to play this, maybe me and my wife. And a lot of the games you couldn't do 2-player. You needed like 4 players or even more. So do you know how these new events break down in terms of the number of players required?
It's not listed in the press release, but from watching or reading the description and watching, there's a video up announcing it on YouTube. So I watched, some of the gameplay. I can't imagine you're going to be happy playing it with fewer than 4 people.
Mm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that makes sense. It
Yeah.
is that sort of
It's one
game,
of
isn't
those
it?
games for
Mm.
me, I maybe bunts, um, play once a year. It'd probably be a good game to archive for me because
Yeah. Yeah. And then it's probably not too big to re-download when someone comes over, right? Like it wouldn't take too long, I don't think.
I wouldn't think, because I mean, you play, like, you use your phone a lot, right? To
Yeah. Yeah. And it's
input a
not like
lot of the
it's high def, fancy graphics. It's party
yeah.
games, yeah. It wouldn't be like downloading like Final Fantasy. That was a big one. And that might have been one I archived, but also I want to play that. So I think I don't archive games like that, but it's so big, you know, that I don't want to download it again. So anyway. Thank you, Kirk. We look forward to that one when it comes out later this year. Hopefully, we'll get a chance to play it or review it and talk about it a bit more at the time. But let's move on to the games that we are playing this week. And I will kick things off with Dave the Diver in the Jungle DLC, which just came out. I think it was June the 18th. We mentioned that it was out last week, but now I've had a chance to actually play it, and it's great. I mean, this is a really fun game already, Dave the Diver. If you haven't played it, you definitely should. I think it's on sale, actually, this week. So please check that out if you were on the fence about it. I reviewed Dave the Diver back at the time. When was this? Like, when did it come out? 3 years ago, maybe? Something like that.
Oh, maybe even longer.
Maybe longer? Yeah, it was a few years ago now. And this DLC is quite significant. It's the biggest DLC they've had for the game. It adds a whole new area. It's called In the Jungle. Obviously, it's in the jungle. And it's they say, about 10 hours worth of gameplay. And there's
Oh, you were
7.
right, Gemma. I
Yeah.
apologize. It was 2023.
Thank you. Thank you, Trev.
Sorry about that.
No, you're all good. So yeah, it gives you about 10 hours worth of gameplay. Obviously, it depends on how quickly you go through it. But there are 7 chapters to work through, plus an epilogue and a prologue. I'm around halfway through chapter 2 kind of thing at the moment, so still relatively early into it. But I'm having a really good time with it so far. It's really well done. I mean, I think if you're a fan of the original game, you're going to want to play this because it takes the existing elements, diving and cooking, and really adds to it. You're also exploring a village and making friends with people. You can give them gifts. Your goal is to kind of build the rapport with these villagers, and then get them to come to your restaurant. And the restaurant is different. It's grilled fish and other seafood kind of items as opposed to sushi that we were having more of at the original restaurant. There's also an exploratory element because there's something happening in this jungle river. I think it's a river where there's pollution and the animals are kind of going crazy. Yeah, there's a few things happening there to explore. So there's a scientist that you're working with, and she's investigating all of this, and you're sort of bringing back things for her to test. So it really does explore. Sorry, improve? No, enhance. It builds upon the lore a little and gives you a lot more to do. So yeah, I'm really, really enjoying it. I can safely say, if you're a fan of the original, I think you would enjoy this one. So yeah, I won't spend too much time on it because we are running out of time. But I will be reviewing this as well. So I'm going to write up my thoughts on this one and get it onto the website in the near future. But so far, so good. Definitely enjoying my time with this one so far. Any questions for me about Dave the Diver? Because you played that one, didn't you, Trev? The original?
I did. I
Yeah.
enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah.
I think the year it came out, I think I had it at my number 10. And yeah, honestly, I probably, if I was to do it over, I'd probably move it up a few spots because
Yeah. Yeah.
we kept playing it and it just, yeah, captivated. Because I feel like it's one of those games where, like, looking at screenshots or even footage maybe doesn't do it justice to the type of
Yeah.
game
Oh,
it is.
totally. Yeah. Yeah. I will say one extra thing about it, actually, because this DLC, you don't need to finish the full game. So you can jump straight into it, which is really good. I think they originally were going to do that. And then I don't know whether people sort of complained or suggested maybe don't do that. You don't have to do that. And for some reason, because when I booted it up, my save file was gone from the original game. So
You archived it.
I don't know what happened. I would not have done that. I don't know what happened. Maybe because I played it on the Switch and this is the Switch 2 edition. I don't know. Maybe it's not compatible, but that doesn't seem right.
Oh.
But I couldn't load my file. It just wasn't there, which I was like, no. But you can just play this, which is great for review purposes because I don't want to have to play through the whole thing again. Like, I
Oh,
love
I
it,
know.
but
Yeah.
it's a lot. And
It's not a short game.
not a short game, exactly. So it just means if you were halfway through the original game or you just wanted to check this one out, you could do that. You don't have to play the original. It probably helps. I would definitely start the original just to get a feel for it, at least before you do jump into the DLC, just because you know the characters then and you know the mechanics. But you certainly can just jump straight into the DLC. Yeah, it is an option, which I think is really good. So yeah.
Did we establish, did Kirk ever download this for the Godzilla DLC there?
Yeah, if only there was something in line with my personal interests that would prompt me to buy this game, right?
Yeah, yeah,
You know what? It's funny you should ask because while you were talking, I pulled it up and I went to the Godzilla DLC and it's time limited. You can only get it until December 31st,
yeah.
2026.
Really?
Yes.
Oh,
So if I
interesting.
am going to get this game, I need to do it by the end of this year.
Yes, and the Godzilla one, you do have to get to a certain point in the game to do that. It's not the end, but you do have to get to a certain point. I don't think there was a cost to that though, was there? Was it free?
No, yeah,
Yeah,
it's
that
free.
one's
It's
free.
free.
Mm.
If I get the Switch 2 edition, does the DLC work for both? Because it only says version Nintendo Switch
That's a
on
good
the DLC side.
question. The Jungle one definitely is Switch 2 because I'm doing that on Switch 2. I played
Let
the
me see how that
original
one's
on
listed.
Switch 1, so I'm not sure. Sorry. I would
Yeah,
know.
that's a
I would
good
be surprised if it
question.
didn't though. That would be because there is a Switch 2 version of Dave the Diver, like an upgrade path for you.
Yeah.
I think it's free as well.
Well, in the Jungle Content Pack also just says version Nintendo Switch. So if you're able to play with the Switch 2, then I'm sure Godzilla can be as well.
Yeah, I'm sure it can be. Anyway, let's move on to Trev for an update on the Adventures of Elliot, the Millennium Tales. How are you going with this one?
Yeah. Hey, I'm excited. You got to my game and it's not quite an hour. So this is
It's true. For once, we just made
uncharted territories.
it.
Yeah, it's going really, really well. I feel bad I couldn't make it last week because I know you were talking about it a little bit. But I'm about 27, maybe 28 hours in. I have no idea how long the average playtime is to beat. I have not read any reviews because even though this wasn't a code, even though this is a game I bought, I figured that we should review it. So yeah, I'm going in totally surprised.
Nice.
Really enjoying the game. It does have a little bit. I think I talked about maybe a couple weeks ago. It's got time travel and it's got like robots and stuff, but it's all explained by magic. So I actually looked it up and they call it Magitech, where it's like we explain it by magic because they have no other point of reference, right? They don't know what technology is. I was hoping maybe Elliot because you jump around in time, and I was hoping maybe it would do like Chrono Trigger. You go into a future, but it all
Mm.
seems to be various points in the past, which is fine, because it's like seeing the differences in the topography and different things. But anyway, I don't want to give too much away for people who are still playing it.
Mm.
Where the story falls short for me in that regard, I think it makes up for it with the characters. I really like a lot of the characters. I feel like I'm getting to know them and building relationships with them, and seeing them grow and change. And yeah, a lot of it is just the side stories and I don't know how many of these you've done, Gemma. I know you've been, busy, so I don't know how much you played, but
Not as
there's a
much
lot
as
of
you.
cool, yeah, there's a lot of cool side quests. The the only issue I have, and I gotta maybe learn more about it, is there's certain quests that, depending on where you are in the story, like you can no longer finish, or maybe you can still finish, but not at that point in time.
Mm.
And I'm playing with Jen, and we got so nervous about potentially losing out. Like we lost one, we just can't do. It tells you point blank you can't finish it. So we got so paranoid, we kind of stopped doing the main plot and
Ah.
started doing all that because we're like, we don't want to miss anything.
Mm.
But I'm enjoying that a lot. Um, there is your companion, Faye, is very Navi-ish.
Mhm.
Um, and I don't know if that's just because I'm playing on normal difficulty. Maybe if I bumped it up, she wouldn't be quite so obvious. But you hit those, like, I don't know what they call them, like those waypoints where you can warp back to them, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
And I mean, we're almost 30 hours in, and I find a new one, and she's like, "Oh, a waypoint. We should be sure to hit them." It's like, yeah, no kidding, Captain Obvious. So she bugs me a bit, and like I said, some of the side quest stuff, some of the story beats maybe don't resonate with me, but on the whole, I'm really enjoying it. And I think you said last week, it's very like a top-down Zelda-ish, which
Mm.
is
Mm.
is is a great compliment, and it's doing its own thing, just taking inspiration from this. So
Yeah.
I definitely think, uh, people should look into it. I think Kirk should look into it because there's a lot of melodrama, especially with some of those side quests I talked about.
Too much 2D HD surrounding the melodrama.
Aw,
I prefer my melodrama in 3 dimensions.
I get you, but not Nintendo 64 style
No.
No,
dimensions.
yeah, no.
But yeah, I'm just having a lot of fun, and it's a nice, Switch 2 exclusive for, we're looking for games that, I don't know how it takes advantage of the Switch 2. I think it probably could have been run on the Switch, but
Probably, right? Yeah.
whatever the case is, I think, yeah.
Mhm.
Look forward to my review. Again, I don't know how close I am to being done, but I'm already formulating my thoughts. So hopefully sooner than later.
Nice. I did notice in the settings you can adjust Faye's, mm, I don't know, personality a little. We talked about this briefly last week. You should see if you can tone her down a little in the settings.
I didn't even think of that.
Yeah, I
It's
saw an
I
option
feel
there.
like there's
Yeah.
certain things in the game where I'm discovering them probably later than I should have. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's weird. Like I feel like there's been a few times where like, oh, I can't believe you could do like warp in between the times.
Mm.
Like we were always going back to like the cave initially to warp, and then I'm like, wait, we can just pick from the menu and do it immediately. And I'm like, oh
Hmm.
man, I wonder how much time I wasted trekking back over the map. But
You would have earned a lot of money though, right? Going
that's
back and forth.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Leveled
that's
up a
true,
bit
and
more.
that's why I
Mm.
didn't really have a need. That's a good point. I didn't really have a need for extra like money out of the gate because we were, you know, playing it kind of with the completionist mentality, right? It's
Mhm.
like, oh, I can't leave a treasure chest there. I got to find it. I can't. I got to bomb this wall. I got to find this cat. Oh man, uh, I've taken up too much time, but yeah, there's a lot to this game. I'm enjoying it.
Yeah. Yeah. Excellent. Good to hear, Trev. Let's move on to Kirk to see what you're playing this week.
Well, I mentioned last week that I'm talking too much about games that I'm not reviewing. So this time I'm going to talk about a game I just reviewed. It just went up today on Pure
Ooh.
Nintendo. It is called Realm of Ink. And it is, like we've said before, after we post our reviews, we'll check other reviews and see if we're in line or, not with our other people. And almost every review I saw of this game said that it was like a kind of a knockoff of Hades. And
Mhm.
I thought that was weirdly unfair because it's not like Hades was anywhere near the first game that is styled like this.
That is
These sort of like
true.
isometric action roguelike games. They're
Mm.
all over the place. So why are we singling that out other than that? I haven't played it, but apparently it was a very, very good game.
It is good, yes.
Um, Realm of Ink is an okay game. I really like the artwork. It's all given like this painterly effect, with ink in the title. You would expect that it's kind of a more artistic approach to it. The premise is you play this character who's trapped in a book and needs to battle her way out. And the general loop is you start off kind of like going through these battles. You can pick various as you go in, you sort of pick your routes, and it'll say if you go this way, you're going to get this bonus. If you go this way, you're going to get this bonus. So you're kind of able to do that. You go into the fights, you acquire materials right before you get to the boss. You have like a market where you can spend some of the money you got and upgrade as necessary. Go in and fight the boss. If you win, you advance. If you don't, you basically get eaten by a celestial fox, taken back to the beginning, and you start the whole thing over again. It's a good loop. I like the combat. How do I explain it? Like a lot of these games, you could feel it, right? With the force feedback, there's an impact to it. This doesn't have that, but I don't think it's necessary. It felt kind of slick, like the combat was slick. I did like that. There are some minor issues with it in that there are a lot of like weird typographical errors. That are and I don't mean like grammar, I mean like actual typography. Like when there's a comma, there's a huge space after the comma and before the letter, that you're putting into the word. So just weird things like that.
Mm.
And there are cutscenes, and they are awful. They are so poorly compressed that it's like the Nintendo 64 looks better to me than the compression on the
Whoa.
cutscenes in this movie or in this game. And I don't know why. It's like the rest of it looks so good. So, why that? I don't know. You have a pet that, kind of levels up with you. You get different forms, they call it. So you can choose characters that have different battles to start or different abilities to take into battle and then, adjust them accordingly. I found that it's really easy to kind of overpower characters after you play around a little bit and you get different items on them. But then you may go up against a boss where even being overpowered, this is not the combination you need to fight this character, and then you got to go back and rethink it. So it's a fine game. Like I said, I haven't played Hades that everyone was comparing it to, so I guess I'll just blindly agree and say, okay, they're probably not that good. But if you're looking for a lighter version of that, or you're just into the genre, it's a decent entry.
Yeah, sounds decent. It's a good word, isn't it? Yeah. I
I'm
did read
just
your
curious,
yeah,
Kirk.
sorry.
Yep.
And I don't actually know if this has any role, but are you playing the game? Is it on your system memory or is it on the SD card? I don't know if that would make any difference with the cutscenes, but I have
Mm.
noticed that sometimes with other like graphical effects that a game will run noticeably better right from the memory.
As
I
far
think
as I know, it's on the game card because I'm pretty sure, or not on the not on the system memory because I think all the games I installed just by default go onto the card.
oh,
So I
okay.
am doing that. As I was looking around afterwards when the review was published, I did find I think there was only one other Switch to, and this is it's a Switch game. I only found one other review for the Switch, and it said the exact same thing. It didn't emphasize it like I did in my review. But it was mentioned. So it could be a Switch memory card issue. I don't
Hmm.
know, but it is there.
Yeah, good to know. Thank you, Kirk.
Yep.
I'm going to quickly talk about a game, which is an older game that I played called Untitled Goose Game, and only because we have a game from this developer. They're called House, the developer. And Big Walk is a game we saw in was it the Nintendo Direct? We saw that?
Yeah.
Yes. And we are hopefully going to be playing that together when it comes out. I think Trev's organizing that for us, and it comes out in August. So it's not too far away. So everyone's been talking about how we're expecting big things from Big Walk because Untitled Goose Game is so great. And I'm like, I've never tried Untitled Goose Game. And it happened to be on sale. It's still on sale, but it only seems to be in Australia, not in the US on the eShop. But it is a 55% off. So I did pick it up during the week and gave it a go. And it's really fun. I haven't finished it. I've only played sort of the first couple of areas, but you play as a goose. I don't know if either of you have ever played this game before. Have you?
I have not.
No.
Nope.
No, I don't know how. I've heard of it, but I didn't really know what it was or what it was about. But you do control a goose, and the goose does things like steals things from the gardener and has to put a rake in the lake. There's like a list of things to do, and you cross them off the list as you do them. And you walk around, you kind of waddle, you can run, you can flap your wings, you can honk, you can pick things up and drag them. It's really cute, clever. I don't know. It's a bit of both. It's pretty cool. I can see why it got the attention it did. It's a fun little. It's a very different experience because I've never played a game as a goose before. That's for sure. And the goose just looks really funny. It's kind of a top-down, isometric-y sort of presentation. So yeah, you can follow the goose around. There's, in the first kind of world, there's a gardener who you have to steal things from. Steal carrots from his garden, and he'll chase you. You have to get him to open the gate, and you have to steal the keys. And yeah, it's quite quirky. I quite like it, so I'll keep playing that a little bit in the background. But I just wanted to check it out before Big Walk came out, so I'm looking forward to seeing how that goes now. Because we've had our opinions on it. We obviously haven't played Big Walk; it's not out yet, but it's a multiplayer game. You only can play it with other people, so it's good that we will be trying it, the three of us together, so we can form an opinion. But yeah, I'm looking forward to giving it a go.
Yeah, and kudos for the devs or the PR company for organizing it that way, because
Yeah,
there was confusion initially.
exactly. Yes, exactly. Yeah. But also, I didn't realize that the developers, House, they are from Melbourne in Australia. So it's an Australian dev team. So I should have been all over that. And I'm hoping they're at PAX this year, which reminds me, I just got approved to attend PAX as a media representative in October. So I will be there again this year. So looking
Yay.
forward to meeting some indie devs and playing some great games and interviewing people. Yeah, excited about that one. So hopefully House is there actually. Maybe they'll be promoting Big Walk. We'll see. But I'll definitely chat to them if they're there. Anyway, that was just a quick one from me, but I did want to mention it. And we've got one more game from Trev. What else are you playing this week?
Okay, so I am playing a game called Console Archives L'Empereur. I don't know how my French accent is. I actually did study French a bit, but you don't use it, you lose it.
Yeah.
And this is from, we talked about before, Hamster has their arcade archives line. Now they have their console archives line, where they take old games from home systems and, kind of bring them back to play on modern hardware. This particular one was from Koei Tecmo. Am I saying that right? It was before they were with Tecmo. It was just Koei at the time. Kirk will probably know if I'm saying that right.
Boy, I don't, but I think it sounds right based on the letters I see.
Okay. So this game is part of what they called their historical simulation series. And there were a number of these games on the NES, like early Nobuanga's Ambition. I'm probably not saying that right. Or Romance of the Three Kingdoms, those type of games.
Nobunaga. That one I do
Nobunaga.
know.
Nobunaga. Anyway,
Nobunaga's Ambition.
these games always looked interesting to me as a kid, but also overwhelming. And honestly, as an adult, it still looks overwhelming. There's a lot of menus. There's a lot of icons. There's a lot of text, and it's 8-bit. Obviously, I perused the manual first. It's funny, the NES manual, I checked out a PDF of that. It's over 70 pages. The digital manual is just under 50. I'm I'm not sure how if they're unique directions or if they've been updated or if they copied from the original. I wish they had the option to view the original manual
Yeah.
because a lot of other, like Digital Eclipse or whatever will let you do that, but Hamster doesn't let you do that. There's 4 campaigns where you play as Napoleon. You start from his early days through his peak, I suppose. And I think you can go in any order, but obviously I'm starting on the first one because it's a lower bar to clear, but still an awful lot. Um, this game is an acquired taste, but one thing I like, which admittedly is probably a Trev thing more than the average player, it has a watch mode, like a gameplay demonstration where the CPU plays. It's kind of like Twitch before that was a thing, right?
Right.
And it doesn't matter so much in this implementation because you have the digital manual, but back in the day, if you were a kid who rented this game, say, odds are there was no manual, or maybe it was like a truncated kind of Xerox page that just had the bare minimum. So I think that's thoughtful, and I did watch it for a bit because, yeah, overwhelming. But I'm giving it the old college try, and I hope there's more of these games in the pipeline because, like I said, there were games that always intrigued me, but I never could try them. But now it's convenient. I can play in handheld mode. I don't have to worry if my save battery's dead, that sort of thing.
Yeah, exactly. So is the goal to take over the lands as an army or?
Yeah, the early one, there's only like so many regions you have to claim. I think it's like 9 or whatever. But by the end, it's basically like, yeah, you got to conquer the whole map,
Hmm.
and there's a lot of micro management. I guess that's the word. Um, and
Yeah.
it's one I feel like I almost want to print out a paper copy of the manual so I don't have to like go back to the menu and read it.
Yeah, true.
Like I can
Yeah.
have it in my lap while I'm playing.
Mm.
Um,
Yeah, it is
yeah,
annoying
a
toggling between
very
things like that. Mm.
yeah, very acquired. I feel like even back in the day, these were an acquired taste, but they had passionate fans because they made a lot of them. And obviously, like with Romance of the Three Kingdoms and Nobunaga's Ambition, they're still
Mm.
making them. So,
Mhm. And is this
um,
a Switch 2 game, or is it just that I happened upon the Switch 2 version?
yeah, it looks like it is just Switch too.
That's interesting
Um,
because it obviously
and
doesn't need to be, right?
yeah, it's an NES game, but I guess that's like a I don't know, console archives thing. It's
Okay.
their new thing, and maybe they're doing the new hardware.
Mm.
Um, I'm not sure, but yeah, Koei did a lot of these games on the NES, Bandit and Kings of Ancient China, and different ones, and most of them were historical sims. There were a couple that were more RPG like, so I'm hoping they come out too.
Mm. Mhm.
Because I just like the idea of this,
Yeah. Yeah. It's cool for what it is. Absolutely. I wonder if any listeners are familiar with this, the original L'Emperor.
L'Empereur.
Emperor. The Emperor, Napoleon. Mm. Very cool. Thank you, Trev.
Yeah, I should clarify, it's not Napoleon Dynamite. It's Napoleon Bonaparte.
Napoleon Bonaparte, yeah. I wish I had a Napoleon Dynamite quote off the top of my head, but it's been a long time since I've seen that one. But it is a classic. And that brings us, I guess, more or less to the end of the show. Did you guys have anything you wanted to add before we do close things off for the week? No,
I
nothing.
guess
I do
not.
not.
Guess not. Okay, that's fine. Thank you so much for joining me this week. Thank you, listeners, for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed the show. We'd love to know your thoughts on all of the games we've discussed, as well as what you're playing this week. Let us know. Let us know your Nintendo 64 and Sonic memories. If you're playing any demos, and if you'd like us to try a demo too, we will try a demo if you recommend it to us. We'll try it and we'll talk about it on the show. So let us know. But if you'd like to follow us on social media, you can do so over on Blue Sky and Instagram. If you would like to get your hands on a physical magazine, as I mentioned earlier in the show, you can do so by heading over to patreon.com/purenintendo, and we will print that and send it straight to your door. Our next issue is in development right now, so stay tuned for more details on that one when it becomes ready to publish. But until next week, thank you and game on, everybody. Bye.
See ya.